Hi, I'm Harrison Wyatt, and in this part 3 of local flora and fauna, I'm going to be looking at some local fungi and different types of insects. This is fly agaric, the classic fairy tale toadstool, usually with white spots on the top and a red cap. The white stem with a frill near the top. This toadstool is poisonous, but very rarely kills people because it is so easy to identify. This fungi is birch bracket. As the name suggests, it almost exclusively grows on birch trees. Starting as a small pale puffball growing out from within the bark, it then plateaus into a light brown pale top with white spongy looking underneath. Though technically edible, people often avoid it due to its strong bitter taste. However, this fungus does have another use as a razor strop for sharpening blades. This is wood ear fungus, known for its jelly-like appearance and shape, very similar to the scarlet elf cup. Both of these fungi are edible, and wood ear appears all year round, most often growing on decaying or dead fruit trees. This insect here is a cockchafer, the UK's largest scarab beetle. They live as larvae underground for a couple of years and then emerge in great swarms around May to July, giving them their nickname Maybugs or Doodlebugs. Here's some slow-mo footage of the buff-tailed bumblebee, the classic hairy black and yellow pollinator, commonly found in gardens, parks, hedgerows and flower meadows across the UK. These are caterpillars, a great insect for opening up the conversation of change and growth. But with that in mind, it's quite tricky to correctly identify them until they've grown a little larger. They could also be sawfly larvae, which are similar in a lot of ways and are often mistaken for butterfly or moth caterpillars. With a little bit of online research and some book reading, my best guess is that these are caterpillars of the dot moth. Another great thing to look for is actually the butterflies or moths themselves and seeing what is in that local area. When it comes to being a forest school practitioner, I think it's so valuable to have a level of insight and knowledge when it comes to flora and fauna and being able to identify things. And I've come up with a list of 5 reasons why. First of all, it's to know what is poisonous and what's not poisonous, what is actually going to be safe to touch and be around or even look at or breathe near, versus what's going to be a dangerous space for yourself and other sort of participants to be in a space of. Secondly, it's knowing what's local to your area, knowing your own space, but in comparison to what's invasive, what species don't belong here for myself in the UK, what types of plants and animals might we need to stay on top of or control to maintain a healthy habitat. For example, a couple of years ago, as one of our outdoor sessions, we did some balsam bashing, which is an invasive plant species that actually flicks its seeds, so it scatters really sort of effectively, basically. So we had to pick them just at the right time. Third of all is seasonal abundance, knowing when things might not necessarily be all year round. But what things can you use or sort of rely upon as a resource for your bushcraft and forest school sessions, or what might you need to leave alone? What types of plants might we need to look after and make sure that we're thinking sustainably and in acting sort of conservation to make sure that we're looking after the space we're using. Fourth is thinking about your knowledge of bushcraft skills. So knowing, as I mentioned with the silver birch, knowing about oils in barks that can help for firelighting, or plants that burn well, or potentially edible sort of fruits and berries and fungi, what is going to be safe to eat and sort of assist you in survival skills. But also sort of thinking about the historical side of that, it's taking that knowledge and keeping it alive through ourselves, and then finally sort of inspiring that into another generation. So as a practitioner, sort of giving that information and that insight on and inspiring other people to have a knowledge about the space that they're in or local to, which is absolutely fascinating. As a quick point of reference to sort of finish off this video, having been looking at different flora and fauna, I did, as advised, go to a few local charity shops, and I picked up for just £1 or £2 each some really lovely nature identification books, some special sort of UK based ones as well. But these are great not only for myself to kind of brush up on my learning, but also to hand out to groups and let them go and do some exploring and identification themselves, which is a really, really great session.